You know, and even as I'm saying this, I actually have to take another 30 seconds to do something. Ah! Hey, you know what I didn't do? I didn't do a thing. Because, again, I messed up a lot of stuff, so let me know if my audio sounds weird, because I was doing a thing. And hopefully everything's okay now, but if it's not, I promise you that you will notice. Not immediately, but you will notice soon. Also, I didn't do a thing, so this stream might be... Again, I'm testing things here and there, but let's just get into the run because my score is pretty much at 0. So I'll reflect that at the end of this run whether I live or die, but let's just get into it. So as we do, yo, got that exquisite taste. Character exclusive, random item, Toshiaki. I almost said Yashiro. I always keep doing that and I don't know. Mic is super low, really? Let me see. Boo 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 boo. Testing. Is it any better now? Let me know if it's still too low and I'll turn it a bit up. Because again, I'm working with a changed setup, so to me I sound a bit loud. So it will require some tweaking here and there so that I get everything perfect. Otherwise, yes, just let me know if anything else has really changed. If the game is too low or too loud, or if the microphone is... My microphone, anyway, is still low or too loud, because I am... Yeah, again, I'm working with the changed setup of sorts. So, yeah. So I'm gonna tweak it a bit more, but we'll see. Strength, dexterity, light, second, knowledge. And then we'll move on. Yeah, so it sounds a little loud to me, but... If it's not, I also sound a bit low quality, but I think it's because I've changed something. So I guess I'll see in post, but otherwise, I think I'm still going to prepare. Rest is a nice option. Exquisite Taste Toshiaki actually feels a lot worse to me, but maybe it's something else. But we'll see. You just saw... Speaking of which, I didn't get to do everything I wanted to do yesterday, which is why I did that Makeup Haru run that I did. Hopefully I get more done. I can stream in 1080p. Unfortunately, again, depending on my setup, it may or may not be possible because things. So, if this, again, we're gonna see what happens with changed settings. So if they work out, it works out. If it doesn't, I'll see. Because normally, again, most of the time I do stream in tops 720p with either 30 FPS or some change in that. Also, I messed the thing up, but I think it should be fine. So, as we get into Mermaid's Nails painting coma footage. Ew. Footage, painting nails, question mark? We'll see. We'll do footage first, just to get it out of the way. But I really want to prepare for funds because we're Toshiaki anyway. But I do need to take care of my HP because I don't have the rest option available. So let's hope we get something good here, which we do, and we will move on shortly. And if we die to Frostbite, we'll die to Frostbite, but we'll see. Because I think all of my Slay the Spire streams have been at that resolution. And World of Horror always stays pretty much at like 720, 29.97 frames per second or something like that. Mainly because I just don't want to tax my... Or put my system, you know, through any more work than it has to. Let's see, what did I have? Painting? Yeah, let's just do Mansion for now. And we'll move on. And then other streams, again, it depends on the game. Most of the time I'm playing games that can just be 720, 30 frames per second, but that can change depending, so yeah. It's nice that you noticed that, though, because I mean, I test things out myself, but I can't tell if what I see is what everyone else sees, so it is something I need to think about. Nice 12 roll, by the way. Slowly dying, but hey. So yeah, but again, as always, do let me know if there's anything that needs to... Not exactly improve, but anything that needs to change, because again, I can only base things based on what I see, and again, sometimes depending on my setup, it's a bit different. See some crest when you get a screen transition, sort of artifacts, is that how it's said? I don't know. Yeah, so... I don't remember the exact specifics myself, but I do for me, I do notice that for much more intense games, there's screen tearing. That's something that I am a bit more comfortable with, but I think that's partially my setup and partially the settings that I use sometimes. You can remove that, but unless you do something really strange, it normally isn't supposed to be that noticeable, unless you're someone who notices the difference between 1080 4K, 1080 720. I notice the difference. I think my threshold is noticing 720 to 1080, but once we get to 4K, I mean, I can still... I realize there's a difference, but I can't really describe it. It's more an instinctual thing, whereas 720, 1080, I definitely notice a difference now, especially with how technology is upgraded over the years, so... If there's anything to talk off topic about, it would be that. But otherwise, someone more experienced in those things should probably let me know. That being said, unless there's something else I really need to talk about, I do want to go over a certain storefront's new change, specifically for AI, so just based on that, you should probably know what I'm kind of talking about. If you didn't know, recently there's been a... not development, but there's been a... I guess a more... what's the word? There's been an explanation. I'm looking for the better word. There's a better word for that, but as I'm going through this Nuzlocke challenge, I should be focusing. But this is kind of important too, especially as a game developer. There's been a change for AI, and while I am in support of it still. I do realize still the fears that some people may have, even though some of them may be unfounded. You do have to so what I basically want to say is when you have to realize that with AI, it's not all sunshine and butterflies and easy to make games. You do, especially with the, I guess in their words, the what's the exact phrasing? It's not gates, but the gates that you have to put around your AI. As someone who's also taken a class in AI, somewhat very basic, and then some intermediate, it's... if AI goes wrong once, as we know with certain other places, it can result in very bad things happening, and you don't want that. So, it's not all sunshine and butterflies. Most of the time, most of the time when people work with AI, they are very both experienced, knowledgeable, and third, very meticulous in their testing phases, because the alternative to that is that you do realize there are some things that we handle that are AI based that are very sensitive things. I'm not gonna say exactly, but to give a kind of, I guess, real life analogy, and while this isn't strictly AI, to show you the kind of detailed and thought that needs to go in. For example, when airplanes have to work through the sky and when someone needs to chart out flight paths, there are calculations, some of them made by, programmers, sometimes just manually manned by humankind. You do have to make sure each number, even a small difference in milliseconds can result in, hey, two planes colliding and crashing, or, hey, everything works out and there are less crashes than there would be, which obviously, when planes crash in the sky, that's very not good. So as we translate this to AI, that's by far the the stakes are a lot lower, except with video gaming, if, say, illegal content were to accidentally be generated, whatever that may be, especially in certain places of residence, it's, again, it only takes one. So while the potential for AI is almost infinite, if those possibilities if one or two possibilities, even just one, result in a game being shut down because of something that happens where it's not good, that one reflects badly on the developer and the studio, depending. Two, results in them losing all credibility with sometimes advertisers or other more serious times investors. And three, can result in, player experience and bad publicity to come out. So, again, I'm not in... Obviously, I'm not in support of things that are completely, Obviously, AI can be used for nefarious purposes, but so can almost everything else in life. But at the same time, it's not to say that no work goes into making a video game with AI, if and when that evolves to a point where it actually is non-discernible. And at a certain point right now, it's already kind of non-discernible, right? I should run from this, by the way. But I think I'm going to... No, I'm going to run from this. I have the Doom, so... There's no way that there are no illegal AI... Yeah, so, I mean, those are the extremes, right? The extreme is everything's perfect and hunky-dory. The other extreme is everyone's being nefarious. Wherever the scale is on that, that doesn't change... What I'm trying to say is that doesn't change the fact that, you know, if you are not handling things correctly with AI... things can go very badly for the person who is programming or developing games in this instance with AI. So, and again, we have examples of AI already going rampant, causing problems for the people who are working with AI. So, again, this is not at all, look at all these AI games coming out. That is going to be true, but I mean, at a certain point, at least we can depend on people to usually, how should I say it? To work well enough with AI to not cause as many tragedies. Unless that actually happens moving forward, then, I mean... because already, the layman doesn't... One, while the layman may not be able to recognize AI when it happens, at the same time, when they're aware that something is off and that something may not be human-made, I'm thinking of whether I want to cast a Thotu Flame or not. I probably should. Yeah, this allows me to, I think... handcuffs immediately if I can get it right. Oh, did I get hit? I got hit. Shoot. Well, anywho. So yeah, it's already not looked... Basically, you're fighting an uphill battle, and my heart does go out to those who are truly working with AI in a good sense. And I know this sounds like an ideal argument sort of thing, but there are... I think there's more even than a handful of, in this case, game devs who are trying to do their best with the work that they have. Because, yeah, there's not much more I can say, because then that would go outside my field of expertise. But I guess another way that I can try to use analogies, and I really hate using comparisons and analogies most times, but I forgot my train of thought. I forgot exactly what I was going to say, but basically... I think there's more than a good number of game developers who are going to try using AI, I'm going to run from this too, by the way, that are trying to put in good work. It's just that, unfortunately, there's not an overall negative stigma around AI in general, but there is a lot of... There are more than also a handful of nefarious sources of AI usage here and there. That, again, it depends on the topic, but for the purposes of game dev, it still has a negative stigma, at least from what I see. And I think it can be a good thing, but AI is already there doing bad games or cheap games on Switch. So, yeah, so again, there's an uphill battle for the people who are trying to actually use it, because it can be used. I was thinking about it, but now that the rules are kind of not as ideal as I want them to be, it's harder for me, personally, to use AI. Now, some people have the resources and the time and the experience and the knowledge to employ the use of AI reliably, but again, I think it's still an uphill battle. Now, is it one that's, you know, are the rewards not as great? Maybe, sure, but again, at that point, I don't think, for me personally, what I'm thinking of is, it would not be bad if, say, a game that implements the use of AI in some shape or form comes out and does a very good job, and then a whole host of other, let's just say it outright, people try to emulate the same success. Because we've already seen that with, I mean, I guess I'll just say it outright. And these are not AI games, but you get the point. The general trend of, you know, when a game comes out, it gets popular and other people try to emulate its success. And I'm not saying that's a completely bad thing. I just personally don't do it. But Vampire Survivors came out. Look, there's a bunch of games that are like Vampire Survivors. Look, Lethal Company is out, and while there have been games like already Lethal Company that have come out that are to a great success, more games that are coming out that are of the same genre. So again, third time's the charm, where if a game that employs AI in a very specific way, whether it is a roguelike game, whether it's a card battler deck roguelike type experience, whether it's a strategy game, turn-based strategy, so on and so forth, a whole host of games will try to emulate success to varying degrees of success. I'm not saying it's always going to succeed or fail, but I would not mind it as much personally. Obviously, I do mind if it causes things to change in a way that's not great for everyone, but I do have to make my decisions based on what I think is best for me, because if I'm not able to support myself in any shape or fashion, how can I expect to support and do good for other people? Is how I'm trying to do things. Yeah, and quick cash grabs are, you know, while you sometimes have to respect the hustle, at the same time, it's not... that is a quick... like, realistically speaking, it's a quick way to burn through goodwill, so... shrug. As long as you don't make a blah 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 blah, yeah, that... Again, we know there are bad examples, and they may or may not be more prevalent in the gaming space as it relates to AI, but, you know... Also, I completely autopiloted through this run because Toshiaki is just Toshiaki. But anywho. So, I'm just gonna go like this. I don't even need to really pay attention. I completely forgot what my second encounter is, but at the same time, we can also do this. So, boom. We might actually still die, but if that's the case, I mean, my score is at 0 anyway. I don't really mind. But yeah, that's just my thoughts going forward, because some people might be interested in what I have to think about it. And while I don't have a professional opinion, I can still give you the opinion at least of someone who is, I guess, a wannabe developer, if you want to go really critical with what I am. But hey, I don't remember at all. But we're Toshiaki, so it doesn't matter. There's something else I could talk about as well, but I don't know if I have everything set up in my mind. So, oh, that's right. I took painting second. So, anywho, that is a Yogatag rundown. Yeah, Yogatag. And let me see if I can get things up, because I did a thing. And yeah, so I had to recover certain things. It should be easy to put up. So I'm going to switch to the scoreboard now, and you will see Yogatag update in a hot moment. And then we will switch back as soon as I get the screen back to where I want it to be, when I want it to come back. So, yeah, away into the next run I go. Don't even know you can autopilot with Toshiaki's character, taking all focus again, still lose because I just like him. So, the way I autopilot with Toshiaki is, it's kind of like a flowchart. If my doom is not high, I just kind of go whatever. Second, right after that flowchart, I ask, is my HP low? And if the answer is none of them are 5 or below, I keep moving. Unless, again, in that run, Exquisite Taste, as I get into Goizo, 7th Curse, All Perks, Random Item, Yashiro. I see if I have rests available, and if I do have them available, I kind of just go, okay, just rest like 2 or 3 times as Toshiaki, and then I just do whatever the heck I want. Obviously, I am paying attention, like in encounters, if an encounter is doing 3 or 4 damage, I think about it. But if it's doing 4 or more damage, I just run with Toshiaki. I do a quick check. Number of mysteries times 20. If that is lower than the amount of doom I have, then I need to think. If it's not, if the amount of doom I have is less than the number of mysteries times 20 that I've done, I just autopilot to escape. So, and yeah, obviously I'm trying to work through events as well, but that's kind of the flowchart going in my head as I autopilot. But anywho, Takushi-san, Dexterity, Light, Strength, Charisma. Now, every single stat check, maybe, but no second encounter. Maybe I want to get a light source, which means I want to grab the heavy-duty flashlight. We do have 7th Curse, so we can set up our shops. But I think I'm going to switch the History Club to the Schoolyard, because I am still going to be using Doom. So, that 2 Doom for possibly stat increases, although random, is going to be nice, and we did get the rumor immediately, so away I go. Yeah, I like Yashiro as a character. Gameplay-wise, though, I'm in pain. Footage Bulletin, Ward, Arms, Recluse. I wanted to do Bulletin and Footage first. Who am I on? Goizo, so my rests are super oofed. I can't take... Even though I have a thing to fight ghosts normally, and by extension, roommate, I am in pain. I don't want to risk arms, though. I can run away from Ward, but I'm scared of my doom at this point, but I guess it's fine. Now, unfortunately, all I got was the Carpenter Hammer, but that's also fine for now. Let's see. Footage, Bulletin, Arms, Recluse, Ward. So actually not a lot of school investigations, so I don't need to lower school, although see so... Do I have a... What's my high location? Mansion? I guess we are setting the police patrols to the school. And I did not set the thingy-majiggy up, but that's fine. I know I have 3 charisma, but at 50% doom we may be able to do a thing with intimidation plays, but we'll see. We'll see. Otherwise, I'm going to hate myself because I am on the scoreboard. Yeah, it's only 1 win so far. And I've yet to build an actual streak, but if I could avoid it, that'd be nice. That being said, 5 dexterity, I'm not going to risk that. And I still have funds left, but yeah. Bad feeling. Well, that puts my apartment threat level to low. I'm a bit worried there now, but I think it's still fine for the moment. And while the next event of the day wasn't the hardest thing to try and work with, as I do need to do the forest twice, so excuse me a moment. Yeah, because I think the next one is the cults that gives you a random curse, but I was testing something out, so that's why I also didn't do one in the past 12 hours, but we'll see what happens later today. Because, yeah, I've just realized that doing the things I'm doing right now, especially for this channel, has resulted in schedule conflicts, but maybe it's still fine. So, 5 strength with the Carpenter Hammer at base allows you to do this prep attack, prep attack. I'm pretty sure this is... Wait, aren't I on random stats? Why am I going crazy? Anywho. I could try to handcuff this guy as well. For what reason? Well, we do have Ward. I want to just run away from Ward because we have arms, and I can't guarantee that arms we will not have a boss fight in arms, but we'll see. I'm thinking, hold on a moment. Give me about 15 seconds. 4 stamina damage for this. And I think my brace, yeah, brace attack is not great. I am going to... Well, I mean, running would not be a great decision either, so... The question is if I want to handcuff or not. I guess I am. Yeah, we're going to handcuff. So... Yeah. We're gonna handcuff. That was only worth 8 experience, but if we don't run into a worse human, this might actually be good for me. What do we have again? Recluse, arms, footage. So my doom yeah, we can't take these out. My body. Yeah, but taking those allies, the doom increase. It's only 7%. Well. Only. It's 7%. I shouldn't say only, because 7% is quite a lot. But depending on the allies, it could work out still, but I would really need good RNG. So as we get Blood Moon, which almost doesn't matter, it will if I plan to brace. That's just how Carpenter Hammer works. And I don't need to drink the wine bottle now, because I don't need to, but if I want to start storing bottles of water, that's a very niche play, but... As we take Recluse. Maybe I drink the wine bottle and then throw the empty bottle, but we'll see. And because we're Yashiro, we don't level up immediately. I don't know, it's... Zeal is good. In fact, it's probably one of his best perks, on, if not tied with the other one on your own for whatever reason. I don't know, though. Just... yeah, I don't know. Is this reason damage? It is, right? I just went over this as event of the day, so I'm just going to take the Doom instead, because we're in Recluse. Oh, yeah, we'll move on. Fungal growth, what is that? -2 max reason, so yeah, I think well, we'll see, Because I was going to say, in the interest of getting Zeal, maybe I want to get rid of that, but... we'll see. So I should be able to do a 3 turn. Oh, never, that's right, I have the bronze crucifix. Regardless, I get out in 3 turns. The question is if I want to do more after that. What would that mean? Throw the empty bottle for 11 HP. I would need to brace, but that's not great. Unless I'm feeling lucky. Otherwise, this would be my next best thing, because then I could do a 2 reason... I get out in 2 reason after this, is what I'm trying to say. So you know what? Was I able to heal more there? Well, in any case, I've already made my decision. So we are going to throw this empty bottle. Why is it set on prep attack, prep attack? Gosh dang it. Because that's probably what I'm going to do. Although I did not... I should have actually thrown the... or drank the wine bottle after this, but it's fine. We hit that kick. You know what's not fine, though? The fact that I have to do this. So maybe I should have just saved... Yeah, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Hey, it's often... I don't often drink the wine bottle for some reason, so that's on me. It's fine if we hit this, but... essentially, I did not do things correctly there, so... we'll see if that affects me later. We do get the Restless bonus still, but... yeah, you know what? We're gonna get rid of fungal growth, if for no other reason than the fact that if we do happen to... I know we might be on all perks, but still. And we are on all perks. I'm gonna take Doomed already still. And then we'll move on. I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. Deduction would not have been a bad choice, but... Doomed already is already a good pick, because basically what I'm asking myself for deduction is, 1, do I need the accuracy? Kind of no, because Blood Moon's already in effect. So the next question after is, what perks would I get? Maybe Fast Swimmer, Core Strength, but Doomed already is already good in my opinion, so hey. The question is, do I want to take 6 stamina damage? Probably, right? Well, I'm healthy enough, I guess. Although... Blood Moon's really doing a number on me, so... it's not even that much of an increase in efficiency. It would be if it was guaranteed, but it's not. So we're just going to take 3 stamina again. And move on. Now, for fighting the boss here, some things might change, but... this photograph doesn't make me laugh. Because I actually need the stamina recovery right now. I think it'll be fine. 6 strength, go for it. And I'll take a drink of water and slow down. So with that event, as I put my drink down, I'm now thinking of whether I want to rest. Do I have any spells? The answer is no. I should have saved the stuffed toy for this, but... I need the stamina right now. That's not great, but at least I have Doomed already to kind of fight against that indirectly. Pretty sure I might even need more stamina, but We have reason to trade if that's the case, so it's not the worst thing. I could also visit the vending machines for a pack of cigarettes, but with this encounter, we're gonna run. And yeah, that can proc the Carpenter Hammer. I don't know why, but I'll take it. And you know what? I will grab a pack of cigarettes while I have the thing. Was that only worth 3 funds, by the way? I might actually do that again, depending. That's only worth 3 funds. So am I on random item stats? Well, regardless. We do this because, yeah, thank goodness. So at least I got my funds worth, but just in case, we're gonna smoke 1 pack of cigarettes. And I should have saved the stuffed toy for this, but as we are on timeline B, yeah, that was a good, I think that was a good call. So we get to do, yeah, we're still gonna take a bunch of stamina damage relatively, but it could have been a lot worse. So I think I made the right call. We still are gonna take a bunch of stamina damage, don't get me wrong, but again, it could have been a lot worse. AI, Japanese word for love, affection, and so on and so forth. If I wanted to go completely crazy, but those odds are not great. So yeah, this is quite unfortunate, but again, it could have been a lot worse. So, let's just get out. I should trade some reason for stamina. Because I have doomed already, I'm willing to trade a lot more basically, if I complained about my reason in terms of general performance in World of Horror, I negate that if I get doomed already. We did get a Yashiro perk. My weird collection, hopefully that procs now. If it doesn't, so be it. It did not. Right? So, yeah. Away I go. Let's drink this bottle of water first. Try not to make any mistakes. Smoke another pack of cigarettes, because we might as well. And that should last us for the rest of the rest of the run. We do have a full ward to go through, so I'm not going to assume that my doom, although it would normally look good, I'm just going to assume that our doom is going to shoot through the roof. But we'll see, right? Thank goodness I had this. Do I get more, though? The answer is no. 65%. Does it make a difference? 16 HP? It kind of does. So we're gonna go for it. If we hit this, we win the gamble. If not, pain. But thankfully we did. And so now we cruise for about another -2 all and get out. Well, I could run here. I think there are more important encounters to run from, hence why I'm not running. Otherwise, I guess it also didn't matter because I could do 10 damage here, but I'll remember that because for some reason I did not think of that. I don't think I'm going to be visiting the hospital a lot more, even though this is only my, well, like my, what, second investigation? We're going to do it. We might take penalty damage, and that might hurt me, but aside from Paranoid Patient, I shouldn't need to worry. We can jog around the block, because even if we fail, we at least heal HP, but we're going something else. May not be very chatty, playing through BD2 on the side, but lurking pretty much. Yeah, no. Do you. And I did get branded, so my doom is shooting up through the roof, but hey, nice, because I definitely won't be... Hey, speaking of RPGs, if I didn't already mention it, as we pretty much cruise through this encounter, so I do get the chance to talk for a moment, but yeah, I will not be infinitely wealthy through the month. I might put out a trying to play, because I know someone else around me will be playing that game, so maybe I will touch it. So if anyone's interested, I'll at least show you a trying to play, but I definitely can't do a full playthrough stream or in video format because, well, to stream or record and do a full video kind of playthrough of that game with another reload of a series, that should already kind of clue you in. But yeah, it would be kind of difficult on my end because I'm already, well, one, I already have stuff on my plate. It would be a smarter channel move on my part. I don't think there's really any arguing it. A bunch of people are going to be playing it, but also because of that, a bunch of people are going to be playing it. So, not saying I can't throw my hat into the ring, but it's more that I'm interested in watching other people play that game or those two games as well, because I think both of those are coming out near the end of the month, on top of other games that are coming out. But it depends on the genre you're interested in. But these two games are specifically going to clash with each other, so because they're both of the same genre. But I mean, I know that basically there are people around me that are going to piggyback off me playing games, while at the same time it works in reverse. So if those people get certain games, I will also be able to piggyback. No, that being said, there are a lot of games I could play right now, but I think the move I'm going to make is that when this channel gets more popular, I will go back to games that are popular and do an actual playthrough of those games. But until then, yeah. Basically, when I reach 1K subscribers, I'll plan on playing games when they release. Otherwise, recent games that have come out, I will see what I plan to do. Also, I should have done a thing. But yeah, just basically and I think I made a mistake. It's called the movie I think is called Margin Call, but there's a quote from there that, has very good... It's a very good quote. It's called, "Be smarter, be first, or cheat." And obviously, if you don't cheat, then that leaves the other two options. So, in this case, in the case of streaming games, if you're trying to grow your channel, say, that's the prime example, being first is kind of important. But after that, obviously, if there are not a lot of people paying attention for whatever reason, then being first makes less of a difference. But you still want to be first in some cases. And obviously, right after that, you want to be able to, do a good job streaming, whatever that might mean. Whether you are very good at the game you're playing, whether you are your personality is there, whether you are performing. I mean, I guess kind of some tips from my at least few years that I've been streaming of experience. But, So I should rest here. Do I have fetid fumes, by the way? Yeah, as I refocus for a moment. Basically, if I don't do a full playthrough of those games, either off recording or on recording, I will definitely see other people playing the game. This is reason, so we'll take that. And we do have a reason penalty, but I have Doomed already to kind of fight against that, so it's fine for now. But yeah. But basically, if you are doing it for your own personal enjoyment, like actually streaming on your channel, then go for it. I mean, you never know, right? Whether you're looking for success or not, if for nothing else, as I say for my own channel, for self-fulfillment, it's a good thing. Also, I should just be resting now, but I don't get the chance, so let's try not to take stamina damage and die. So I get to rest about twice here for certain, so let's do that. Because even with Goizo, we need the healing. And let's see. So, I can take 2 stamina damage, deal 16. It's still not enough. But I would rather that than take stamina damage, so we're just gonna run here. We get a human skull, but I think that disappears into the Aether. And I should have taken Improvise now. We get Improvise, so never mind. That would have been great earlier. Didn't happen. We don't have a light source, and we do have Takshisan first, so I do want to pay attention somewhat. But with Improvise, even though we have 3 things to throw, we should be profiting here. So we'll move on. Maybe I wanted to heal stamina because I have Doomed already, but it's fine for now. As long as we don't have roads closed, we should be perfectly good. Now, you know what's not good, though? Yeah, we'll see. So many games you could want to stream, but play games slowly and often randomly. So yeah, again, it's up to you to make the choice. I think there are merits, even if you're doing things for a self-fulfillment or fun, or, you want to put things up. But again, in the end, it's up to you and just to you, because I'm not you, so I can't help. I mean, I can try to give you advice, information on what you might want to think about moving forward, or, putting things on your channel. Anyone, really. This is general advice for anyone, but again, if you understand your own circumstances well enough, all I can really do is speak my mind and allow you to ruminate. Now, things can go good or bad, depending, but again, I'm gonna trust people to make the best decisions for themselves, because I think most of the time people on this channel have, you know, a sound enough mind to make their own judgments. So, if, you know, for specific advice, again, if it helps you improve as a person, I say go for it. But if you want to play on your own time and you think that's the better option, for, again, your own peace of mind, your mental health, your physical health even, then you do you. Because, you know, there is a part of physical health that's tied to mental health, or vice versa, or just in general physical improvement in terms of hand-eye coordination, depending on the genre of game you're playing, so on and so forth. Yeah. But if specifically, if you're looking for, you know, improving your channel growth, then again, that depends on a whole host of different factors. So it's not entirely... It's not something I have any authority speaking in, knowing who I am, so... complete authority anyway, but I think I can still, you know, say things and you can agree and disagree, and that allows you to make a better choice, whether I'm speaking complete nonsense or otherwise. Do we get out? Yeah, we do, because this is a lot of damage with Improvise. Improvise is so important, by the way. And then we get to do Prep Attack, Prep Strong, so... woo! Dullness Improvise is very powerful, if that wasn't already made apparent. I do have a lump of flesh, but until weird things happen, I should just eat it now, but... we're okay for the moment, so I don't really mind. Now, I'll kind of mind if my cigarette... can we actually? No. We still have enough... we have cigarettes to last the entire run, definitely. But as we get a full HP... an HP full Kinoko Gatherer... thankfully, we have Dullness. Dullness Improvise, and I still barely beat it. And I'm on Nicotine. I have Nicotine Rush, by the way, so... that was not a walk in the park by any means. I basically barely scraped some... a no-turn encounter. But anywho, also I'm passing a lot of these checks, so that's great. But yeah, you do you. I'll pop in if I can, but if I don't, again, I'm just know that I'm very busy at the moment. So... anywho, Ritual Mask, but hey, I won't be fighting a ghost, but there are also no reason encounters, so there's not really any reason. Haha, funny pun. There's really no reason for me to do otherwise. Please don't get me branded. Speak of the devil. That shouldn't affect me, but man, would I have hoped to have gotten some good luck at the end, as long as it wasn't branded. I don't think there weren't a lot of other curses that would have really hurt me, but that being said, I should be okay as well. So, moving on. Why do I ask? That's a good question. I don't know. I do it to myself, but hey. Takshi-san shouldn't really hurt me, though, because we have the power of now a reporter's bag as well. So I can throw even more at him. But yeah, this is what I have to deal with. And I know some people, you know, I recently went over basically a comment that went over... what do you mean? This is all about RNG. But I like when I actually calculate the odds of things happening to me, you realize that the odds are very, very low, right? So, while yes, I do still succeed, like the chance of me worse, you know, dying right now is really low. That doesn't change the fact that I had to fight against the horror that is RNG. So how many times am I gonna proc Brand? If I proc it 3 times, that's bad RNG. So we'll see. But yeah. I think... well, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I really want to... I think recently... when is the last time I've done a full 2-hour stream? I really want to question that right now. Not that, you know, if I'm using the time... if I'm spending the time that I don't stream for the full 2 hours that I normally like to stream, as I switch to the scoreboard for a moment... if that doesn't happen, as long as I'm putting it to good use, because I am still working on a game. Now, I've lost time, because obviously... I went through a computer explosion... figuratively speaking. Yeah, it's not great. So I did lose progress there. That does make me mad because I do have to work on things in real life. So being mad at myself for exploding my own computer is not something I wanted to deal with, but I had to deal with it. So, thankfully, I got, ways to change my setup now and more ways to back things up, so at least I am in a better position now, but I did lose time and actually literally speaking money, so yeah, let's just move on to our next run. Passing this Nuzlocke, though, is a important thing. Cthulhu Exquisite Taste character exclusive random item Curie. That's 2 Exquisite Taste runs now, but hey. I am gonna keep going on that game. Again, more of that and Event of the Day would have come out. I'm definitely coming out with the one today, but things have happened. I actually messed up a recording, so I have to do it for a 3rd time, but hey, Strength, Knowledge, Light. Second Mystery, Takshi-san, and Dexterity. So I'm gonna keep going with that. Hey, you know what the good thing about... I might as well say it here because more people will hear me say it now than in there, but the good thing about messing up a recording, if I were to take out, the shining light in a tunnel, is that I can at least correct myself. So what specifically someone mentioned, and I could be more explicit with this, but bear with me for a moment, is that... I'll go history. Hold on, let me just focus for a moment. Yeah, downtown, occult shop. Yeah, police station, but I need... yeah, police station, because if I don't get a weapon, it's important. So, I will be narrating through things, I guess, as that's the good thing. Maybe I want to redo the Yamanobe chapter. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, but I've already said it. It's kind of... Anywho, moving on. Yeah, I'll be narrating things then, because if nothing else, things are going to be changing in that run anyway. And if you don't know much about that game, then it's kind of hard to notice. But if you do know a lot, I mean, I should just narrate through anyway. So what do we have? Metamorphosis, Ward, Flood, Scissors, Botanist. As I run into this, I immediately have to Scissors into Ward, and I have to deal with the threat level as it comes out. We do have Cthulhu, so our Doom is going to shoot up through the roof with higher reason damage, but... Yeah. Oh, so you watched that. But again, for anyone else, what I'm saying is, yeah, things are going to change. The Yamanobe I keep saying it, but I guess I might as well just say it outright, is that things are going to change more than people would think. So anyone who actually does have experience with Abaddon, more than a few, it's going to be a thing. So, yeah. Anywho. It's going to be different. You're not going to see it anywhere else. That I'll say for sure. Why did I take the front side? Oh, because we're on Timeline B. So never mind. I do have a weapon. But I don't know. So yeah, I did not do a narrative run in that run. So what was mentioned earlier applies, and so I should narrate through. That's one of the reasons. So this redo is a learning experience in itself. Do I want to just eat this in the face, by the way? No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. So I did speedrun through it too. So that's... Again, I was considering it, but I guess I should just go through it, right? I should just go through it. Because other people have already gone through it, and I forgot my friend's diary, by the way. 5 vows. I should just go through it. Like, take my time through it. That does mean I won't get to where I want to in the next episode, but hey. Taking Insomnia here is actually worse for your reason. So that is why I take the left option there. Because I will not be getting to that as for the event of the day for a long time. Now that being said, taking 3 damage here doesn't seem nice either, but I don't have much else because of the thingy, so... I can't even trade... I can't even trade stamina really comfortably. Unless I throw this, but if I do this, Ward is going to be absolutely terrible. So yeah. So speaking of that, there was someone who streamed that game. I'm gonna try not say the name because I'm just being careful here. Also, I'm gonna do this. So yeah, they're also again, that's for a good reason. Basically, there's a good reason why there are not a lot of playthroughs. Also, I think that game is also banned on the T platform. It's also banned off the ST storefront. So, if you know what I mean by that, I was about to say, if I got 3 bows wrong in a row, but anywho, bow, bow, clap, clap, bow. So, there's a good reason. It's not very out there, I guess is the way I should say it. So yeah, I think I'm actually going to take Ward 4th. I only took Scissors first in case I could do a thing. And since we have Metamorphosis, yeah, Metamorphosis Flood. That, and it's the... I'm going to paraphrase the first letters, but the sensual actions is the different way I'm going to say it, does put it in a much more precarious, just like how a certain game about 2 siblings has its share of problems with basically it as a commercial project. I'll say something after this, but I'm just gonna complete my point here, where when I say it has topics that are, I see why it does not pop in terms of popularity, I guess is the way I can do. Also, the game is already censored on top of that, and that's something I'm going to talk about in the next episode, the translation and how good it actually is. Kind of. I'm going to be rambling here and there still, but you get what I mean. But at the same time, yes, the counter-argument to some of those, and what did I really want to say? I'll just talk through it as I grab the small candle here. But shoot, I really wanted this mentioned because it was a point that was kind of relevant, really relevant. But for now, it's not like there are other games that are doing just as bad, and you can actually be very... There's a reason why I do videos and stream on this platform, ultimately, and it's because it allows common logic to win out, where you can still play a game with good enough... With, you know, you can play a game respectively and it works out, basically. But at the same time, that game is hard to play if you don't know where to... You can't do a blind run in that game, basically, because if you try to do a blind run in that game, you might run into things, and you will run into things that are not great for things. Now, that being said, I can't ask for more from the localization team, because again, I think they did a pretty good job. But I also realized that I need to get rid of Frostbite, but I didn't have the dullness, so I didn't really think about it. But I mean, we might as well talk about it here. No one else is listening until I get popular in the future. Then someone comes back and goes, "Oh, you talked about the blah, blah." But anywho, also we're on Metamorphosis, so I actually need more HP than this. Yeah, I need more HP than this. But so okay, yeah, that's what I want to talk about. So the NUDI word that starts off with those letters, that's not the problem, because if that were the problem, obviously, we would have to throw a bunch of other games pretty much under the bus. Let's say it outright. That's not great. That's not great at all. I actually might die this run, but we get absolutely nothing. That's not good. I'm in a bad situation here. Hold on, let me focus for a moment. I'll keep that on. Let me make a note of that really quickly, because I might forget, but I also need to think, so that's also a reason for me to kind of sit here and think. Because I already witch treed twice. I have to rest. I have to rest. I have to rest a lot more than this. I will not survive, boss. But anywho, yeah, if the NUD is the problem, then again, a lot of other games will be thrown under the bus. Unfortunately, though, the game actually, like, basically, if someone got really in trouble for it. I would be on their side, because in the end, while yes, there are some things that should be understandably censored here and there, in general, if the game had, had a streamer mode, basically, which is hard to do, it would be a big ask for that game. But assuming that it did, I hate fast weapons, by the way. I know it's only 60%, but what else do I want to do? This is I don't know why people like fast weapons. I really don't. But I'm so flabbergasted. But yeah, basically, I mean, obviously, right? My videos have been are healthy for that game, so that's all I'll say. That's all. I guess that's where I'll leave it at. There's a reason why it's hard to play that game. Okay, so what I actually wanted to talk about, and as I think it through this, because maybe I should just run here. Because we're on Cthulhu anyway, and I need to save HP. Yeah, I'm just gonna run. I have to cut my losses. Max threat level Seaside, and no police station, by the way. Might die this run, but yeah. So what I wanted to say is that game is actually more popular than you think, as some people might think. I'm gonna say you, but I mean general audience. For people who don't know, that game is a lot more popular than people think, especially in, I think, the place where it came out. It's just that it's not something that's really talked about because, well, for safety reasons, basically. For safety reasons. But the game does have a lot more interest than you think. I know this because I know a certain thing, but I'm not going to say because I don't want anyone to get in trouble. And this doesn't have to do with anything that some people might think looking back on this. I'm being very safe here when I say this, but for good reason. But yeah, it's not everyone's. Again, I wouldn't say it's a cult classic, but I also wouldn't say it's a very popular game. It's basically it's in between that, if that makes any sense. And that probably doesn't, but again, just to say it. So if I could hit 2 strong attacks, that would be nice. I think I have to. And since I have to hit both of them, I might as well spread out my attack boost. So 81%. Am I part of the 81%? The answer is yes. Actually, I probably could have gotten more damage there. But anywho. Why did I do so much damage again? If I didn't already get... Because I still have this arm sinew, by the way. Huh? Yeah, I don't actually get it. Anywho. Moving on. Yeah, again, I'm not going to say it's not a cult classic, and it's not a very popular game, but it is something that I think is worth looking into. Oh, shoot, I have Flood. Oh, I have Flood, I forgot. At least I get to rest, but... Nah. Anywho. A damage increase would be nice here. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but we're just going to throw caution to the wind as we do 5 attacks to try and 2-turn this guy. Yeah, not much else to say. Just like the... I can't even do the thing I normally do, but the HP 2 on my channel, that game is arguably probably... No, in the Western scene? I can't tell because I don't know the exact numbers, but just know that both of those games are very popular for what they do. Anywho, we'll take the Doom hit here. So, Forest School is what I want to investigate, but if I don't have enough HP, I just have to rest. In fact, I already just want to rest, but the damage increase would help me out. And I do have Memory Extract, so that's why I'm thinking it's kind of fine. Now, we are in a bad way, but if we grab this... Is this going to be better for me? We're going to find out. This makes me lose reason, so actually, funny enough, I'm going to do this, because even if my Doom increases, we're in Flood. We do have... Again, we still have Memory Extract, but that's why I'm willing to do this. Otherwise, I would have just rested as soon as I got the Theologist, so... Yeah, this is not great. But I have Memory Extract, so... It's kind of fine, but it's also not fine. So we're just going to throw a Hail Mary here. I hate fast weapons, man. I hate fast weapons. Oh! You know, I was wondering if I could do it. No. Anywho. I'm gonna throw another Hail Mary. Maybe I was just really unlucky. Well, I am still really unlucky, but that was really bad. Anywho, we're gonna memory extract here for a moment because we need to. Because remembering that we're on Cthulhu, so we're losing Doom every time this reason. This is 60% with 180%. You realized, everyone realizes that, right? Let me just lie down for a moment. I need to think now, because if I memory extract 2, I need to level up still. And yes, I am recording in a place that has a bed on it, so I am lying down in my bed, trying to think of what the heck to do. And I think I can still be heard, right? I'm pretty sure. What am I gonna do? I mean, I have to memory extract, right? I have to memory extract. If I don't memory extract... I mean, this isn't the worst situation to be in. I have memory extract, so I have pseudo-infinite healing. Or, when I mean pseudo-infinite, I mean I probably have more than enough reason to survive. The issue is that I'm on Cthulhu, so the longer I'm in this encounter, the more Doom is going to get increased. Get what I mean? I have Holy Glyphs, but that doesn't do a lot for me, because I don't have a lot of stamina. And if I lose Bath, old gods forbid I lose Bath, but I guess we'll find out. So let me get back in this chair. And, yeah, let's find out what I want to do. So... let's... 37 HP. I have to, right? At this point, I go all in. I hate fast weapons, by the way. I should make a note, actually, although I can watch this back. I'm not recording right now. Usually I record while I'm streaming, which means that I immediately have the stream on my own setup, but... yeah, this should be a thing, but let me just make sure. So, 16 damage on demand is what I have. I mean, Kyrie with the Monkey Wrench wouldn't have done that much better, but keep in mind, I also had a researcher with me, so... I should heal Reason here. I have every single stat check, though. Don't I already have... I have quick thinking already. So, don't I have every single stat check? No, I don't. I'm going crazy. I do have a dexterity check if I get the 6th floor, but the important part is that we have a knowledge check, and then, yeah, we also had a strength check. So, you know what? Funny enough, I want actually the 6th floor. Maybe. No, I don't still. But anywho. Botanist Ward. Botanist is going to be a bunch of Doom as well. This is... my Doom. By the way, were those 3... No, Metamorphosis was... I was in town for Metamorphosis. Anywho. You know what? We actually need another Dullness encounter here now. And, you know, funny enough... Okay, so some quick TED tips about Cthulhu and playing through Cthulhu is that you work better as a character with ultimately Doom mitigation, but the runner-up is someone who deals a lot with, funny enough, stamina and Doom loss, because you want to avoid losing Reason in events, if you have the choice. Obviously, in this event, we don't get the choice. But, so, funny enough, you'd be thinking that characters like Miku, like Mimi, that have innate Reason healing is better, but no, because you want to avoid losing Reason altogether. So, it's a funny little balancing act that you do on the other side of the tightrope, where, again, you want to take Because if your reason decreases at all, you lose Doom. Now, obviously, you still want to calculate, like, being in this encounter sucks, so just run. But during events, say, if the left choice results in losing stamina, and the right choice results in losing reason, like here, I know that this loses stamina when I fail. So your initial thought may be to grab characters, or characters that have reason recovery, or deal with reason, are a lot better. But no, you want to go opposite. You want characters that recover a lot more stamina and can deal with Doom, are better on Cthulhu, in my opinion anyway, because ultimately what I'm saying here is an opinion. But anywho, something learned from those runs, now doing by default saving games in every slot. Oh, so yeah, that game has a lot to chew through, by the way. I know we're talking about this game again, and I can't really... I'm scared of the robots. I think anyone who is, you know, reasonable, as I'm pretty much gonna die this run. And if that's the case, maybe I just need to refresh. You know what? If I'm gonna die here, I might as well try to lower Doom. So... I have to rest, by the way. That's one stamina, I'm gonna rest. And I don't think I can even fight this. I will advocate... Okay, so basically, outside of this, as I lament my demise, my imminent demise, is that, yeah, if you're playing through the game and you can consume the game in your place of residence because you're as of the age and you're not breaking any laws, then I think it's the game is actually very well done. Now, if you say that it's not, feel free to argue with me, because I think that'll be a very interesting intellectual argument, for me at least. But... hold on, what can I do here? This is 8 damage, apparently. I'm just gonna run. But yeah, I personally think it's a very good game, so... I got times... Okay, we're definitely dying, by the way. Unless we get all the RNG in the world, but that's probably not happening. Oh, you mean rolling your saves in general. Okay, yeah, that's just a general piece of advice that is good for... most genres of games that have a lot of save slots. Now, obviously, some stick with the save slot or do otherwise, but... anywho. Yeah, rolling your saves is a very good general piece of advice, but it's something that's often forgotten, and for certain games, it's more relevant. Unless you're doing some kind of weird challenge where you're never trying to save, but... that's a whole different topic in general. But, yeah, rolling your saves is... I think it's a very... whether it's healthy or not, I don't know for sure, but it definitely gives you a gameplay advantage. And if nothing else, it prevents you from losing a lot of headaches, which will definitely be worthwhile in Reload, I think, in my opinion. Unless they do something really weird. But anywho, as we desperate action our way out, and I'm just gonna do this for giggles. I really shouldn't, but anywho. No police station, by the way, so if anyone's wondering. But yeah, can't argue the game looks well made. It is well made. So, I mean, in my opinion at least, because there's nothing... people can argue here and there. And obviously, I understand where the thought of, oh, it looks bad, because there are some people who say, let's just say it outright, there are people who think Undertale and Deltarune look bad, graphics-wise, even though, to me, that makes no sense at all, because one, that's the aesthetic of the game, and two, actually going into the work that revolves around making or using those assets is it's a point of respect for me. But, yeah, and they're old, though, yeah, so that's... some people don't think that way, so, I mean, well, I agree with you on that point. One, they're old, and two, that's part of the aesthetic they're going for. Some people would argue, one, they're not that old, and two, that's no excuse, which makes no sense to me, but as we die in this run, I can at least say that much. I think I'll give it one more good run, because no matter what, yeah, Cthulhu absolutely demolished me. So, let's go to the scoreboard, where everything is likely going to be reset. And if nothing, I think I did my best that run. I could have made some changes I could have enabled different sublocations. Yeah, that's a hindsight argument, but... and theoretically speaking, that other game is also done by one person. Even if, say, you want to say that it was, you know, a few people, like, that doesn't change the fact that there was a very small team working on that game. And obviously people tested the game, so that's... If we're talking about number of developers, it was definitely less than 5 for both of those games. For all 3 games, if we want to include all games, but as I get reset here... Yeah, we'll do one more good run, and I'll call it there, because I do need to work on... Not recovering, but basically there are some assets that I need to recover for this channel. But as we get into Ath Cult character exclusive Ico, so this is going to be pretty much a gimme. I have a 98% chance of... Well, 88% knowing me, but... You know, no, probably less than that. 85 is always the max top, but strength, dexterity, bleh, second mystery, charisma, maybe every single stat check Takshisan at the end, but we're Ico, so doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm even gonna go no monument, because doesn't matter. But I like usually option selecting, and I'm not using the monument a lot anyway. I don't know. I just don't use the monument a lot. But to end the topic mentioned earlier, as we do athlete, gym clothes, Ico. Yeah, those... I mean, one developer sometimes isn't an excuse for graphics, but in this case, I think it's a testament to how well done those games are made, relative to the amount of... And those games come out, and at least for the most part, they work. Let's just say that much. Teacher, Nails, Bulletin, Vigil, Recluse. Basically, my very baseline threshold for this stuff is that... As I take teacher first. Yeah, my baseline is that, hey, the game, when the layman goes through a game, there should not be any game-breaking or game-crashing bugs. And those games, I think, for the most part, fit that. But if they don't, let me know. Let me know if there's any weird bug that crashes the game as I... You know what? We're gonna go Shovel Ico. Shovel Ico Knight. But, anywho... Yeah, at least it shows that one person's vision and art direction. And again, I think there's a lot... I mean, even technically the developer for World of Horror, I mean, using their experience both as a horror enthusiast for Ito-sensei, excuse me, 11 roll, by the way, and their, you know, from what we know, their profession in real life, then, yeah, I think they've done a good job. Also, Teacher, Nails... Recluse. We might have Bulletin, but until then, we're going to set the police patrols to downtown. And then... Yeah, so I think they did a good job. It's you would find it hard to persuade me that those games were not well done. Now, are they for everyone, depending on the game? Especially one of them, obviously not. But in terms of the... UT and DR? Yeah, sure. And, you know, I know there's been, maybe not recent, but obviously, looking through the code of some games, there are some developers who get dunked on, pretty much, because of how the coding is, but there's a reason why there is an actual degree for computer science. Let's just say that much. And knowing the developers for certain games, yeah, they're not all computer scientists. Now, do they become better programmers here and there? To some extent, sure, because that's just what happens when you develop a game and put out a commercial project. But at the same time, again, I can't ask that they're... I would wager 66 to 75% of games that are developed in this day and age and in the past 15 years have not been optimized in their code. I think there's also a also kind of recent video, contemporary-wise, as I take this encounter for experience mainly, that has... There's a video that came out about someone who worked in game development, and they mentioned, and I would recommend you go watch that, but I don't remember the video off the top of my head, but if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Where they talked about the struggles in getting things pushed through overhead. And by overhead, I mean, when you're working for a large company, obviously things need to get approved. That's basically a very, very simplistic form of overhead. But, as I need to remember to censor also, we have Aiko's plush toy, so I'm just gonna throw this shovel out twice. But, as I make sure that I have the censor on screen, yeah. Games that come out have their issues, pretty much. And, you know, sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. And therefore, if nothing else, the takeaway from this whole thing I'm talking about, because at this point I'm rambling, but games made by one person, especially if they come out to be a major success, whether that's capital-wise or fan-wise, I think those developers deserve a lot of respect. Now, the challenges that come with it, both internally and externally in the case that, unfortunately, in this climate, certain things are not looked kindly upon, for better or worse. You know, that's just what comes with it. It comes with now, unfortunately, this sector of work, which also applies to every sector, really, but this day and age, there's good and there's bad. But if you develop the game on your own, even if no one ends up playing your game, there's a takeaway from that you've done good. But obviously, if your game comes out and it's a huge success, then they've done something. There's a reason why also when games come out to a big success, and hey, lo and behold, a lot of them come from smaller teams and indie game devs. Turns out, a lot of games try to emulate their success, even though those games may have what some people might consider spaghetti code. And in fact, some of them do have spaghetti code. Let's not argue that. But, you know, still blows your minds that TF did what TF did came from doing a weird, creepy to ROM hack to Undertale. Hey, you know what? Path of the Midnight Suns was also, technically, its origins came from a ROM hack from Fire Emblem. So, hey, among other things, I mean, it turns out inspiration, and that's, again, we can also loop back to the topic of AI, because AI, while, yes, obviously things should not be ripping off copyrighted material, the core concept of, because I saw a big streamer go over this, the core concept of basically derivative work and taking inspiration from things, obviously, that's a big kind of topic in the art space as well, and plagiarism is definitely obviously a thing. Obviously, don't plagiarize outright, but I would say asset flip is kind of the tightrope of where you want to be there. After anything worse than an asset flip, you kind of run into issues, but that's not to say that you can't take inspiration from things. Obviously, I don't think anyone would argue with inspirations, but everyone would agree that if you're blatantly stealing, and obviously not putting in work, but really stealing from other people's resources just outright, like in a very non-ethical form, heavens forbid you do something illegal, but obviously that I need to say that because sometimes it's not blatantly stated, and we need to state things blatantly in this day and age, but yeah, ethically, you shouldn't be trying to intellectually steal from property as well. Now, again, some people take that to its limit for nefarious reasons, but for the most part, I think people normally do a good job. Of course, we'd also loop into the topic that is people who try to make... What's the word? I know there's a phrase for it. Basically, copying a game, like, say, a lot of Vampire Survivors type games have come out. A lot of Lethal Company types games are now coming out. The Contamination, if that reaches success, more games of that genre is coming out. But you get what I mean. A lot of those games coming out, I wouldn't look down on them, because if you could make a... Clones, yeah, clones. So we'll just say it. I'm losing the exact terminology. But when clones come out, that's not to say that clones were... because that's a stigma that comes from clones, but basically I treat it... If I were to make a game that is a clone, you're essentially working with a debuff that is, hey, that you're just trying to piggyback off the success of a certain game. And that's how I treat it if I were developing a game that's essentially a clone. Sometimes it's unfortunate circumstance. Again, I like to think of possibilities. So sometimes people just come out like BPM and I think the other one. I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry for forgetting the name of the game, but those two games came out relatively close to each other. But even then, people would still say, one of them is a clone of the other. And it's like, it's kind of hard because if you didn't already know, hey, turns out games take time to develop. And most, if not 98% of games, take at least a month or a few to develop. And obviously, ones that are bigger take years. But I assume those two games in particular took a lot of time to develop. So, yeah. Calling one is not fair, but as a game developer, we need to reverse the chessboard and say that as a game developer, you do need to be aware of this, which is also why I guess I'm not gonna say I don't know anyone really personally, and I'm not connected to anyone in the game development sphere, but in the game development sphere, that's why I mentioned it in the past, but trying not to step on toes when you're releasing games is kind of important. If for no other reason, then you want your relationship to be good with other people, so you don't want to come off as like, I'm trying to steal or do something nefarious, because if nothing else, that doesn't look, it doesn't look well to other people. So that PW is a game you're waiting for it, already tagged as a Pokemon clone, even though it has guns and the gameplay is different. So yeah, you're essentially, as a game developer, you need to realize that you're working with that debuff if you decide to do it. And some people are obviously aware of this, and they do it anyway, but that's because either one or two things are true, unless you're just completely insane. You are... I need to concentrate for a moment, but you are either very confident in your game, or two, you've already accounted for the risks involved. And obviously there are smaller reasons, like you just want to put out an artistic piece as a video game, which there are a lot of examples of those. In fact, there's a whole genre that's tagged as that on Steam. We'll just say it outright. But, like, you do have to realize you're working with a debuff, basically. And that's the same thing I do when I'm working with an asset flip of RPG Maker games, because I've put out a few very small games. One of them was a bit bigger, but I put out a few games that are basically just working with the base RPG Maker. Heck, again, one of the games I'm working on, that's going to be free, by the way, is just use RPG Maker characters, but that's because I want to work with that, and I have my own ideas going in. And then one of them is obviously less so. But I do agree, I guess, as we kind of move away from that argument, is that the farther there have been videos that out, and one piece of advice really stuck out to me and still stays with me, is that the farther... Oh, I should have traded funds. Why did I do that to myself? I have Hot Bath and I'm Ico. I don't care. That's the reason why. But I have Fetid Fumes, by the way, but because I have Hot Bath, Ico's so good. Let me just say what I was going to say before I forget, because I'm starting to forget. Oh, so the farther away you can get from a game looking like an RPG Maker game, turns out the more likely of a success it's going to be, because there is a stigma around that as well, and the stigma is, hey, it's just another RPG Maker game. Now, it's not fair all the time, but I can see why most of the time it turns people away. At the same time, I've reversed that chessboard already to say that how many RPG Maker... If there are not more than a dozen RPG Maker games that have used RPG Maker base assets that are not a huge success, then there are not enough RPG Maker games that have used RPG Maker assets to warrant the stigma that is, or I think that a developer can basically put in the effort to make a good game like that and come out to be a specifically commercial success. But at the same time, I'm not going to say that stigma around RPG Maker games is not a huge debuff, alright? Let me put that straight out. But anywho. So, we're going to smoke these 2 cigarettes, because these will last us the rest of the run, or they should. And even if they don't, I have the stuffed toy as a safety net. But yeah, this has been my also quick TED Talk stream about game development in general. But anywho, 9 strength, 9 power. Although I rolled low, I'll take it. Also, yeah, so also when I get bigger as a channel, I'll put this right out there. I do want to play more games that are more... Co-op isn't the right word, but basically interact with the audience. Although if you have any ideas, I guess I could just throw this out now. So I could... We'll start with small steps. So if there's anyone out there, if there's more than even just one person who wants me to put out a list of games that are kind of, not co-op, but you know what I mean, interact with the audience at bare minimum, if they want to see me play those games, I will be more than happy to play those games, but it might take at least a month. Well, basically in February is the earliest I would probably do something like that. But again, we'll also see. Also, this bulletin, by the way... No, this is... Wait. Am I fighting? Well, I'm Aiko, so I don't care. I could say no, but for giggles, we'll say yes. But yeah, just let me know. Otherwise, my first step would be to put out a list of games, then I can... and then we'll put it to a vote, and then I'll play said game. But we'll see. We'll see. Because I'm still stuck on my doing... This year is the year of the redo, basically. So yeah, Aiko is just so powerful, by the way. Have I mentioned how powerful Aiko is? I can't handcuff this phone, but Aiko's so powerful. Aiko's so powerful. But anywho. Yeah, so with that said, like, again, before there are, I mean, to already persuade people who will believe, but for those who are on the fence, yeah, I might have just been totally not focusing this run, and people might have wanted me to focus on the run and kind of maybe give Aiko tips, but the flip side that I always say of that is that the fact that I can just turn my brain off and talk about anything I want so leisurely while playing Aiko should speak for itself as to how powerful Aiko is as a character. I will never deny that... Oh wait, do we have another mystery left? We do. Never mind, we're not done yet. But nonetheless, we should still have enough cigarettes to last. We take Vigil here, but we're very powerful. We're very powerful. Let me repeat again, we're very powerful at the moment. And yeah, I shouldn't have done that actually, but if I die, it's my fault. But I don't even know. I'm just going crazy right now. I'm going absolutely crazy. I do want to do the Vigil here, because I want to just brute force and turn my brain off some more, but we'll see. Yeah, Aiko's a very... I wouldn't argue that... in fact, I still would place Aiko at the top of the tier list. It's just that cookie-cut straightforward. Now, in a very, very subjective tier list, I would put Toshiaki at the top, but with how much RNG is involved and how much I hate RNG, Aiko is still top. I can completely turn my brain off. As a great prepare item that mitigates damage for... Oh no, my perception and luck! And you can't zero stat... Now that I know you can't zero stat on luck, I really don't care. But Aiko has, you know, good stat spread for Zektas, so she doesn't care about that either. Start with a passive that makes you completely fast. Makes Shovel a good weapon, but that's a very, you know, that's just for funsies. But has Fast Swimmer and her passive, which together stacked makes her good with any weapon, as I just said, which is the more salient point. Salient? And then every single one of her perks is, you know, has more use than 50% of the other perks, which you would be hard-pressed to find a character where each one of their perks has a general good average use case. So, yeah. Yeah. So we're just gonna do this, and this vampire stands no chance. What if Aiko gets nerfed? If she were to get nerfed somehow? Have the effect of her passive and nerf Fast Swimmer. ASCII shrug. I'm shrugging in real life as I say that. I don't know what else to say. Make the plush toy do something different. That would be a less extreme... Funny, yes. Less extreme. And by that, I mean completely remove -1 combat damage. Add 2 charisma. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. So, but that would be one of those two things. Either literally half the benefit she gains from Half Swimmer and her passive, both of those two combined, or just completely remove incoming combat damage from Plush Toy. Even though those would be extreme in itself. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know. Recluse second, right? Yeah, we did, so we just kind of cruised through. We survived no matter what, and Aiko is Aiko. Now, that being said, Aiko is a base character that everyone starts out with without needing to unlock everything, so again, that's why I don't really mind as much. But as Takshi-san gets literally and figuratively buried by Aiko with a shovel. Yeah, more on the side of buffing underpowered characters. Yeah, that's what I believe too. That's why, I mean, I'll humor the topic that is, what if this character had to be nerfed? But I would rather buff Yashiro than nerf Aiko. That's the end-all be-all of it. But I think with that said, 90 minutes again is usually my bare minimum for stream. My bare extreme emergency minimum is always going to be an hour, but I think this is a good amount of time, and unfortunately, yeah, I would like to go longer, but I think for the health of my sanity and making good what was that again? Wait, which god was that? I forgot, but I'm just going to put something on the scoreboard just to kind of pretend, because I don't even remember what boss that was. I know it wasn't Zictas and Azal, obviously, but if you can remind me, if anyone can remind me, otherwise I'll look myself. I have something on the scoreboard. It's not Ath, but hey, that's where we're ending the stream on. So, without further ado, anyone watching from the future or now, please subscribe to the channel if you really want to help me out. We're slowly getting closer to 1K subscribers, which is my bare minimum to really focus on this channel. Otherwise, yeah, it would help out. That's the free version of helping out. Memberships are also open. It is Ath. Okay, well, I mean, Ath, but I can see Ath getting buff if nothing else. But yeah, without further ado, that'll probably be nearing the end of the stream. I'll sit around for a minute in case anyone wants to say anything, ask questions, suggestions as to what I could do. I'm kind of in a slump right now because of the obvious backup thing that happened recently, but otherwise I'll be around and around doing Harbinger horror stuff. I also should continue my Harbinger trial challenge things that I've set up, but yeah, without further ado, that'll probably be the end. I'll end with the scoreboard here, so without further ado, you know what to do if you want to support me. And I guess I will see you later. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Bye. Chat. Stuff.